With the Samsung Galaxy S4, there's a lot the company did right. It stayed true to its original design, but it adds a lot of features from Android 4.2 that really help in both the performance and the feature department. It supports things like expanded notifications and the new quick settings menu, which is something that we saw on stock Android 4.2. The only difference is that there are so many features here, the entire screen is needed. You see, Samsung added every possible thing they could to this device. They added things like air gesture and smart pause and smart stay and even the holdovers from the Galaxy S3 that most people didn't end up using. The new version of TouchWiz is really, really smooth and responsive. It's definitely, it pairs well with the phone itself. And that just speaks to the overall polish of this phone. The problem is that Samsung pushes a lot of its own services on you. You have things like the Samsung Hub, which consolidates games, apps, books, and learning portal. And while it's a really nicely designed app, it just doesn't do anything better than the Google Play does. The other thing to keep in mind is that Samsung hasn't really changed much from last year's model. Now, that's not to say that there isn't a lot that's improved. The screen is 1080p. It's got a much faster processor, and it has a bunch of new sensors, including, in addition to an accelerometer, a temperature gauge and a barometer, just to show you what's going on the outside of your phone. Now, that's a really handy feature and something that we hope to see developers take advantage of, because the native S Health app is a little bit underwhelming at this point. The other things that you might experience when using the Galaxy S4, such as air gesture, feel a little bit half-baked, while AirView, which is taken from the Galaxy Note, uses your finger to detect when you're hovering your finger above the screen. While it is helpful, it doesn't feel all that well implemented either. The camera, however, is a huge improvement over the original. It really is a fantastic 13 megapixel shooter. And the number of modes that you'll find in this device are just astounding. There are basic modes like HDR all the way to an eraser mode, which will remove background objects from your photos. There's also an animated mode, which allows you to create a cinemagram. And while most of them are going to be just fine, you may just want to stick to the auto mode. There's also the dual shot mode, which is a cute feature where you can use move your timestamp around, but it really isn't that impressive. When it comes to LTE performance, this is a device worth noting, and overall, the device feels much faster than previous year's models. In fact, aside from the HTC One, this is definitely one of the best Android devices ever created.